Coming up on AGWEEK TV, the used machinery market has been red hot. We'll find out why. Specialty crop producers roll out a food traceability and identity preserved label. Will our winter weather provide any hope for drought areas in the region? And more farmers are marketing produce direct to local grocers and restaurants. Welcome to AGWEEK TV. I'm Michelle Rook. We're coming to you from the South Dakota Soybean Association Ag Outlook meeting in Sioux Falls. The EPA made a major biofuels announcement on Tuesday outlining a proposal for renewable volume obligations for multiple years and denying a significant number of small refinery exemptions. The agency is proposing to set the 2022 conventional ethanol level at the statutory 15 billion gallons. However, the level for 2021 would be at 13.3 billion gallons, 1.7 billion below the statute. EPA also took the unprecedented step of reopening the finalized RFS rule from 2020 to lower the conventional blend by 2.5 billion gallons. Ron Lamberty with ACE says that's bad for biofuels producers and gives refiners a break.
That means that some of the volume that was already purchased in 2020, and they lowered 2021 also, the stuff that's already been purchased this year won't be needed to satisfy 2020 or 2021, and they can use it to reduce how much they're going to sell next year.
The biodiesel industry was also disappointed.
The numbers for 2021 weren't what we had hoped they would be, but looking forward, they're anticipating to raise them a little bit more so that we'll be, able to grow our industry.
The EPA is also proposing to reject 65 small refinery waivers from biofuels mandates across multiple years.
They need to be denied if they follow through and do it, and I think they will. We'll be happy about that.
The industry will now have 30 days to comment. USDA's Risk Management Agency announced some updates to crop insurance for the upcoming season. RMA is making permanent a new provision that allows producers to hay, graze, or chop cover crops and still receive a full prevented planting payment. The agency is also increasing flexibility related to the prevented planting 1 in 4 requirement. RMA is also aligning crop insurance definitions with USDA's National Organic Program. Supply chain issues continue to slam agriculture, including an unprecedented demand for used farm equipment. Industry leaders say that's creating a red-hot market they've never seen before. Nick Wagner with Michael Wagner Implements says there is a major shortage of new equipment. It's an industry-wide trend, and for most companies, if farmers order a new item, they can expect a long wait.
I don't know. You seem pretty happy if they tell you it's less than a month, but most of the time it's 3 to 6 months is a pretty good general window. Some of it's longer, depending again on the components, what it takes to put into the product.
For Pifers, that's created red-hot demand for used equipment at both their live and online auctions. But there are other factors driving the market.
They want to be able to repair their own, and the cost of new has increased substantially, and so that's also driving the cost of used machinery.
Used equipment inventory is also getting tight, so most farm machinery, especially the high-quality items, are selling for record-breaking prices across the country.
It is extremely hot. We're seeing equipment selling for, in many cases, Michelle, more money now than what it was purchased for new 5, 6, 7, and 8 years ago.
Some farmers are also buying used equipment for parts, since those have been equally as difficult to get. Unfortunately, this is a trend that may continue well into 2022. Good news, United States Soybean Exports hit a new record for the 2020-21 marketing year that ended August 31st. For the 2021 marketing year that ended August 31st, a record $28 billion of soybeans were shipped across the globe.
We exported 61.7 million tons this year, which is an outstanding year. It actually shattered the record that we had from before by, I think, 4 or 5%.
Total soy product exports also hit a record of 74.8 million metric tons. However, so far exports and China purchases are running behind for the current marketing year because of tight supplies and damage to export infrastructure.
60% of our soybeans go out via the Gulf. So, having terminals shut down in the wake of Hurricane Ida, obviously that impacted things.
Shipping is coming back online, so he says even though soybean exports may be down this coming year, they won't be far off the record.
But we're catching up relative to last year, not too far off the 5-year pace now, and I expect some of that will normalize as the peak export window continues on.
After widespread drought in 2021, farmers are hopeful for some winter moisture to set up a better planting season. Emily Beal caught up with the director of the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network to get his take on how things are shaping up.
Thanks, Michelle. Today I'm here with the director of NDAWN, Daryl Richardson. So Daryl, can you kind of tell me how the region is sitting in terms of moisture after coming off an extremely dry summer?
In many ways, to me, we had a perfect autumn. It was above average temperatures, which is good for harvest, drying things down, yet at the same time, we had above average precipitation. So especially the eastern half of North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota, and some other parts of the region, really we've saturated the soil up to a point. It's not field capacity saturated, but sitting really good to start winter off, leading into what may possibly be, a wetter spring.
So heading into the winter months, how is the region sitting?
The interesting thing is, although we've really had just that one storm, and by our standards, it wasn't, the largest snowstorm we ever had, yet that one snowstorm contained 25% of our average precipitation for the winter. So that sets us up probably to not repeat what occurred to the region last winter, and when, of course, we had very little snowfall.
So as producers, livestock producers, as well as row crop, kind of start thinking about the spring months ahead, should they be concerned about the lack of precipitation in certain areas, or do those fall heavy rains really set them up nicely as we head into spring?
I think we're set up just perfectly for the spring. If anything, with the exception of northwestern North Dakota, everywhere else, I think there's going to be more areas with excessive moisture problems in the spring than they are with a lack of moisture, whereas last spring, I don't think there was any spot that had excessive. Some areas were adequate, but most areas were dry. Spring of 2022, again, with that exception of northwestern North Dakota, has lots of moisture in the soil, and if anything, after the winter snows, might get some delays because they're excessive moisture.
Dale Richardson, Director of NDAWN, thank you so much for joining me.
When AGWEEK returns, the Specialty Soy and Grains Alliance launches a new program that will help U.S. producers and exporters.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you. From top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
Good work, good pay, and a good life. It's the Trans-Systems way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Lets me live my way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Trans-Systems way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Lets me live my way. It's the Trans-Systems way. Good work.
Every season has an end. After spending your whole life building something, it can be hard to move on to your next stage in life. But when that time comes, you deserve to have someone you trust guide you through the process. And by trusting us to pass on your legacy, it gives someone else the chance to create their own. Every auction has a story. Let us share yours.
Superior Grain Equipment offers you the industry's best dryer and grain handling equipment. So make the superior choice and get higher quality grains, test weights, and prices while using half the energy. Superior Grain Equipment.
Go beyond the headlines with an AGWEEK membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to AGWEEK and AGWEEK TV.
Strong economics and a late season flush of moisture and heat resulted in a good year for American Crystal Sugar Company and its shareholders. At the company's annual business meeting, President and CEO Tom Astrup said the 2021 sugar beet crop surpassed expectations. In recent years, the company made large investments in beet receiving and storage, but Astrup says smaller crops left those investments untested with no payoff until this year. Yield numbers were 24.8 tons per acre for a final payment of just over $60 per ton. The total payment forecast of $660 million was a 16% increase from the 2020 crop.
There's some differences. We're seeing a little bit of strength in the sugar market. We're seeing considerable strength in the market for our what we call our agro products, our beet pulp and our beet molasses, which are generally feed products that are tied to the corn price.
Astrup says soils are dry in large areas across the company's 5 districts, and that's a concern for next year. There's growing retail demand for understanding how and where food is produced. With that in mind, the Specialty Soy and Grains Alliance launched a new program with the goal of reinforcing the U.S. as a reliable origin for identity-preserved crops. AgWeek's Noah Fish has more.
A significant advancement in food traceability for manufacturers, processors, and exporters of food is what the Specialty Soya Grains Alliance is calling its new program, U.S. Identity Preserved, complete with a new website. The new label signifies a premium crop with a verifiable origin.
A new effort to better represent ourselves and better sell our products to the foreign marketplace by assuring the foreign customer of the quality of our product.
The 2-year-old SSGA is the Association for the U.S. IP Specialty Grain and Oilseed Industry. Chairman Bob Sinner has been involved in the soy export business for more than 30 years.
We needed to have something that was identifiable to customers around the world about the specialty and uniqueness of U.S. IP.
The United States produces wonderful grains and oilseeds, but in the specialty market, those crops need to be segregated. And in order to guarantee and support the premium price, the foreign customer wants the assurance that that segregation is certifiable.
A launch partner for the U.S. IP plan is Global Processing Incorporated.
Our customers are asking us to legitimize what we're shipping. Products with this brand on it will be something that they can count on: the sustainability, the traceability, the cleanliness, the safetiness, and the reliability of the supply.
Growers participating in the U.S. IP plan, like Raquel Hansen, have to follow strict rules from pre-planting to harvest, then to storage, processing, and distribution.
Identity preservation doesn't mean it has to be non-GMO, but that is a large number of the players in the business are focusing on non-GMO and or organic.
The producers appreciate it because they're compensated for the attention to detail that they provide to companies that are doing the exporting.
In Minneapolis, this is Noah Fish for AgWeek.
Members and grower associations from 8 states, including North Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa, are supporting this new effort, along with all 3 national soybean groups. To learn more, go to usidentitypreserve.org. The South Dakota Soybean Association's annual meeting and Ag Outlook show resumed in Sioux Falls this week. The event kicked off with the association business meeting and an Ag Leader Roundtable. Soybean yield contest winners were recognized, and a cross-section of stakeholders gathered for the Uniting Agriculture Social and a chance to network.
We hope people will bump shoulders, have some honest conversations, and we'll be able to express what we're all dealing with and how we can get better as the state goes on.
More than 700 farmers and agribusiness leaders took in the conference and trade show. Still ahead on our show, AgWeek turns its attention to the growth of local food production. We profile a hydroponic lettuce operation that's doing great things in just its 2nd year.
Some things in life are hard,
That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Every season has an end. After spending your whole life building something, it can be hard to move on to your next stage in life. But when that time comes, you deserve to have someone you trust guide you through the process. And by trusting us to pass on your legacy, it gives someone else the chance to create their own. Every auction has a story. Let us share yours.
At Advanced Grain Handling Systems, we're your full-service grain dryer and bin project partner. We'll handle everything from start to finish.
These guys are all in one. That was one of the big draws. They were the general. They took care of the electrical. They took care of the cement, took care of everything.
Whether your next project is big or small, let our team help with it all. Visit advancedgrainhandling.com.
We're going to talk today about a revolutionary auto steer product that you guys have developed.
We back one of these things in, it'll drain a 40-acre patch just within hours.
What can you tell us about what dairy farmers do to make sure that their animals are happy?
Their care is our primary concern.
Is there still time for producers to get storage bins up?
Absolutely. We still can definitely get something up and ready for corn harvest.
We did get some snow this week in the northern portions of the region. Is there more moisture on the way? Here's John with our AgriWeather outlook.
Looking at the weather outlook over the next couple of weeks, I think it's fair to say that so far this winter season has been happening rather piecemeal. Snowstorms have happened here and there, but nothing really widespread. So the upper Midwest, Northern Plains, Southern Canada region does not have a complete base of snow. It doesn't look like winter everywhere yet. It certainly does in spots. Because we haven't really seen that widespread snow cover develop, some areas are actually having pretty dry time of it. Many areas down in Iowa, up until this weekend anyway, have been quite dry. And we are still waiting on that big outbreak of Arctic cold. We've had some chilly nights and days here and there, but nothing really terribly widespread. Let's look at the weather pattern. Right now, over the weekend, of course, we've just seen a snow system come up out of Nebraska, Iowa, northern Iowa anyway, into southern Minnesota. That's left some cooler weather in place, but not really frigid. The frigid weather continues to be locked up in the high Arctic, although it's beginning to show some signs of dropping southward. Two lobes to keep an eye on: the Pacific Northwest and off the maritime of eastern Canada. The middle of the country, still the jet stream fairly high, which is allowing a lot of fairly mild air. As we get toward the latter part of the week, I do see a trough being carved out. It's going to pull some freezing weather down into much of the Rockies and bring some pretty cold air down into south central Canada. By frigid, I'm talking high temperatures near and below zero, or at least near zero. And in this dark blue, that's where we're talking about high temperatures that are generally below freezing. The cool weather may be near freezing or a little bit above. As we get into the weekend, that frigid air still sitting up there, just really not making great inroads. A modest warm up early next week. Now we're talking the week of Christmas. We're seeing a brief ridging and then a pretty strong wave coming through, and that's going to bring that colder air down. I don't really see it going crazy cold, but we may be starting to see some of the first frigid weather toward the latter part of December. Now, this is a 2-week forecast. I can't predict exactly where this line will be 2 weeks out, but you get the idea. Toward the end of December, I do expect some pretty cold weather into the northern plains, and that'll likely pull up some pretty warm weather in the old south. Dry weather setting up along the eastern seaboard. Rain and storms from Texas through parts of the Midwest, and a lot of that will be rain. I do anticipate a snowstorm of modest consequence, at least in terms of moisture accumulation, coming out of of the Rockies and into some parts of the northern plains this week. Moving ahead to the second week, very likely that precipitation belt will shift a little bit further south. More widespread rain and snow along the Pacific coast, down and through southern California, and some snows into much of the Colorado Rockies, while things will dry out a little bit toward Christmas in the northern plains for the most part.
Risk management is not just for the grains. Livestock producers, did you know you can help protect the price of your production? Livestock Risk Protection, or LRP, is a great tool to help you protect the price of your years of hard work. LRP is available for feeder cattle, fat cattle, and swine. Besides the availability of price risk insurance in your production, cattle producers can also protect their pasture and hayland from the lack of rainfall with Pasture Rangeland Forage, or PRF insurance. To learn more about these programs, call Martinson Ag Risk Management.
Don't miss out on the equipment you'll need next season. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer, has early order discounts on its full line of powerful, efficient, new Case IH equipment, including tractors, combines, and self-propelled sprayers. Get a great deal and ensure that you have the latest in productivity and technology. Supply chains are tight. Contact your Titan Machinery dealership today and find out how much you can save by ordering ahead. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH equipment experts.
The team at North Star Ag is committed to quality and committed to you. We're not just a full-service dealer, we're farmers too, so we know you need the best machinery and services that'll keep you going all season long. We have the largest equipment inventory in the upper Midwest with a well-equipped parts and service department. So whether you need machinery tomorrow or parts today, stop in and experience what North Star Ag can offer. Check out all our new and used equipment online at northstarag.com or call 701-361-4790.
Good work, good pay, and a good life. It's a Trans Systems way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Lets me live my way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Trans Systems way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Lets me live my way. It's the Trans Systems way. Good work.
For AGWEEK, this is Mikkel Pates at Watertown, South Dakota.
We'll look at the positive impacts that dairy can have on the community.
A Minnesota couple has put a grain bin to a new use. Spoiler alert, it's not grain.
This elaborate system of tubing with the downhill slope is how Maplewood State Park gathers sap to make syrup.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Disruptions in the supply chain resulting from the pandemic raised consumers' awareness of local foods, and now there are an increasing number of local food producers in our region. Ann Bailey visited one farm in northeast North Dakota that began modestly and now has blossomed into much more. It's our AgWeek cover story.
Well, I love growing things. I always wanted to farm.
Richard Wadle and his wife are the owners of Map Market. They grow 7 lettuce varieties in a climate-controlled greenhouse, allowing them to sell their product year-round.
And so it was just something we decided to try. We visited some other operations out of state that did it. Looked like something, it was doable.
In 5 years, the business went from roadside food stands to farmers markets to a full-time hydroponic lettuce growing operation.
So these rafts just float in the water like this. We just set them on there. And then this is living butterhead.
Map Market is now profitable enough in year 2 that Richard was able to quit his job and grow lettuce full-time.
Wrap the root up, stick it in there. So we leave the root on. And the idea is that it's still living. So when you buy it, it's fresher. And that's exactly what you see in the grocery store.
Map Market lettuce can be found in 15 grocery stores in northeast North Dakota and northwest Minnesota.
I guess our selling point would be local and fresh. We harvest it today and the next day it gets in the grocery store.
The pandemic raised awareness of local food production. That, along with consumers' growing desire for knowing where their food comes from, means operations like Wadle's are finding success.
We're not rich yet by any means, but we're just starting.
In Crofton, North Dakota, this is Ann Bailey for AgWeek.
Map Market also sells lettuce to several restaurants and has a CSA business selling fruits and vegetables directly to consumers. Still ahead, as we wrap up our show, an organization that promotes soy to fight worldwide hunger reaches a big milestone.
Risk management is not just for the grains. Livestock producers, did you know you can help protect the price of your production? Livestock Risk Protection, or LRP, is a great tool to help you protect the price of your years of hard work. LRP is available for feeder cattle, fat cattle, and swine. Besides the availability of price risk insurance in your production, cattle producers can also protect their pasture and hayland from the lack of rainfall with Pasture Rangeland Forage, or PRF insurance. To learn more about these programs, call Martinson Ag Risk Management.
Don't miss out on the equipment you'll need next season. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer, has early order discounts on its full line of powerful, efficient, new Case IH equipment, including tractors, combines, and self-propelled sprayers. Get a great deal and ensure that you have the latest in productivity and technology. Supply chains are tight. Contact your Titan Machinery dealership today and find out how much you can save by ordering ahead. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH equipment experts.
I'm Peter Bosch, a farmer from Buffalo, North Dakota. I've been working with Gateway Building Systems for a little over 20 years now. I chose Gateway Building Systems to build my shop because I wanted a building that could both be used for my equipment and as a place for my family to hang out and do things. I decided to go with Brock grain bins on my farm because we've had several of them over the years. My favorite thing about them is how fast the unloaders can take the grain out of the bin and get me on the road to the elevator. The best part about working with Gateway was the ease of making changes or anything that I wanted to add or delete from building the shop. The design crew there was very easy to work with and met and exceeded all my expectations. I would advise anybody that's thinking about working with Gateway to go in and talk to the guys there, tell them your plans and your future dreams, and let them design something that you would be happy with.
Go beyond the headlines with an AGWEEK membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to AGWEEK and AGWEEK TV.
During the holidays, we recognize the World Initiative for Soy and Human Health. WISH, as it's known, is an organization that promotes soy as a way to fight hunger across the globe. WISH is celebrating a 20-year milestone of developing markets for soy around the world.
WISH is a great organization. They go into emerging markets that are great growth potential.
Iverson says they target areas with food insecurity and use soy products to introduce more protein into the diet.
Providing food to people that may be malnutrition. And it could be by having a soy cow, a machine that makes out of raw soybeans will make soy milk.
They also help farmers learn how to use soy in livestock, poultry, and aquaculture rations, which eventually results in increased soybean exports.
That's the goal of WISH, is to introduce soy and to get it into a market, and then as demand grows, where it can become a mature market.
Iverson did his first WISH mission nearly a decade ago in Cameroon. Stories you'll only see on AGWEEK.com and AGWEEK magazine this week. With supply chain issues pushing commercial fertilizer to record high prices, good old-fashioned livestock manure is in demand. And the U.S. has strengthened crop insurance for hemp producers. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Have yourself a great and safe week.